Alright, what's up you guys? Welcome on this very impromptu live stream for SHARKNEWZ Live on a Monday. This will probably be a somewhat of a shorter episode or live stream just because it is Comic-Con weekend. We are about, I don't know, a few days away from Thursday, I believe. So, yeah, it is Monday. So, man, it's going to be quite a ride, although I will say that I really hope that the G.I. Joe team has some crazy new, I don't know, something up their sleeve to hand out this weekend, because again, in the previous years that I've done G.I. Joe videos, whether around San Diego Comic-Con time, there was a lot of hype for figures, right? If I remember correctly. One of them was Serpentor, which obviously was the biggest draw. Last year we had the Once a Man Cobra Commander, which also coincided with Nemesis Immortal or Enforcer, which was the, I think, PulseCon. Was it PulseCon or 1027? It was one of those two, I don't remember. And in the years prior to that, I'm trying to remember, we had like the Snake Supreme Cobra Commander, and then we had the shoot, I'm blanking out. But either way, there was always some type of figure or figures that kind of brought us a lot of hype in the G.I. Joe world. However, this year seems to be, I don't want to say lackluster, but it's also been, I feel like because this year's exclusive is the Cold Slither 4-pack and we don't have anything else, it kind of just puts like a, all right, like what else you got? Because I think one of the years was also, it was also Dr. Mindbender, I think. Or was that another year? I don't even remember anymore. But point is, with this year just being the Cold Slither 4-pack, it kind of makes it a little bit easier for some collectors, not every, because unless you're a completionist or want like every figure, then you know, you're gonna obviously want to try to get it. However, for collectors like me who know that Cold Slither is going to be a hard pass, or you don't want it in your collection, or you just don't need it at the moment, then it's kind of like, all right, I can save a little few dollar bills here and there and, you know, put on other things. But yeah, how is everybody doing today? Welcome to everyone in the chat. Thank you so much for joining on this Monday. I don't expect a lot of people to be joining tonight. Again, it is a Monday, so whether we have one person or 5, I'm still grateful, so thank you guys. Robert Wantland, what's up? D. Sanchez, Sendil Krishnan, Shadow Wolf, Couchboy, Title Manishir. Thank you guys all for joining. Chad Kinsler, what's up, brother? How's it going? Craig N, welcome. Let's see here. Yeah, so the reason why I'm streaming tonight randomly impromptu is because with Comic-Con starting this Thursday, there might be some new reveals or some kind of new excitement or whatever they might do in terms of the Hasbro booth when they have like their displays. Therefore, the usual timing of my streams will still it'll still happen, but I'm just, for this particular live stream, I want to kind of get the Cold Slither and then the other Walmart exclusives out of the way, just because I want to save the next stream, which will happen probably in a few days from now, or even tomorrow. I don't know. I'm probably going to be streaming a lot this week. There's going to be a lot of probably new reveals or something on display at Comic-Con, so got to open up some slots and time frames for that. So hope you guys understand, and hopefully you guys can join it, because that would be great if you can. Couchboy says this Haslab has no excitement. I like that the hiss said, if you don't back this early, no tactician urgency, act now, plus interactive voting color. It seems like this time they set it and forget it. So the past, what was it? The past 2 Haslabs for G.I. Joe, they did that system where everything was more of a mystery, right? It was more like, in order to back a certain, or to reach a certain tier to unlock, we don't know what it was, and that's what made the hype so intense. Even if it was something as shitty as patches, or something like you know, like a missile or like treads. The point of the mysteriousness of keeping the others unlocked and unaware was that it builds hype, it builds momentum, and it builds the excitement of, all right, even if tier 2 sucked, I wonder what tier 3 is, so I want to get this unlocked. Even if tier 1 sucked, let's try to get it to tier 2 because we want to know what the hell tier 2 is. So that's what makes it exciting. But for the Rattler and the Snowcat, they immediately upfront shared us everything that we need to know. And of course, that's a good thing and a bad thing, because it's a good one because people can finally see everything up front rather than blindsidingly investing in X amount of money for a Haslab and not knowing what it is, versus everyone seeing what it is up front, and then you can decide on the last minute or right away if this is something that you really, really want. So there's two ways to obviously look at that Haslab. Robert says, I haven't made up my mind whether I'm going to back it. That's true, man. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be doing like the final decisions. Shadow Wolf says, Great White. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Yes, I keep thinking I'm going to do the Great White intro, but then I keep forgetting to say Great White. But thank you for reminding me, Shadow Wolf. Let's see who else we have here. Let's see. Robert with the shark emojis. Couchboy says, Happy San Diego Comic-Con week. Hell yeah. Craig N says, What's up, Shark? What reveals do you think we'll see from Comic-Con? That's the exciting part. So that's the part I want to hold off of until my next stream, which will be in a few days, or probably this. Like I said, I'm going to be streaming a lot this week, probably. Therefore, I'm assuming, well, now that you've asked, going to my leaks and whatever. So thanks to Craig N, who asked the great question. I have a feeling that on display, perhaps we might get a reveal of possibly any one of these figures. Now, Steel Core Sentry could be, it could be very likely, because we've had a name-only reveal for the Steel Core Sentry figure with the defense post, and I feel like San Diego Comic-Con would be the greatest place to unleash this this whatever beast of an accessory set with the figure. Now, Steel Core Sentry figure, it could go either way in terms of color schemes, or it could have a cape, or it can look like Batman. I don't even know. But the point is, and it's going to have like the same style probably with the, you know, all the other Steel Core figures. So we should see a really cool display, just like how we saw, I think last year, one of the other live events, we saw the Trench Viper display. So that's pretty cool. I'm not sure if we're going to see anything with Taurus and Reddog, because that's still kind of up in the air, but we were aware for a while now that Flash and Night Viper has been listed, and they're supposed to be upcoming at some point. So there's a really good chance that they could do like a surprise shock value and just toss both of those figures out on display, because if you remember from the previous San Diego Comic-Cons, we had no idea that Mutton Junkyard was actually going to be revealed, and then the next day they automatically or like, let's say if it was on Thursday, then Friday they automatically had Mutton Junkyard out on display, or they had Metalhead on display, or they had, I don't know, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, some like whatever figures they kind of teased, they would have it like the next day. So that's what makes it exciting to know that even if they tease like Night Viper, let's say on the Saturday panel, there's a really good chance we could see Night Viper on display even at Comic-Con right there. So that's what makes it very exciting, is the unaware portions of why it's fun to go to Comic-Con, but it's also, you know, fun to kind of just like sit at home and also, you know, enjoy it. So that's why I'm going to be streaming probably a lot this week. Couchboy says, remember thinking if Hiss does not back in 14 day lose a figure, that was what Haslab needed. Lifeblood. True. Robert says, look at Shark with his hair, with his fun stand-up hair. Thank you. I call it my James Gunn hairstyle. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, Stigma NYC, welcome to the chat. I think this is your first time here. It's good to have you, man. Thank you for the rock emojis. D Sanchez says hell yeah, SDCC with the rock emoji. Roland Max says what's up, Shark and fam. What's going on, Roland? It's good to see you. Couchy Boy says I hope every Comic-Con we get a new selfie series. Maybe. Robert says I'm down for not knowing what the tiers were in advance. Very true. That's what makes it very exciting for collectors in general. Rodimus Power, welcome to the chat. This is your first time here? I think this is your first time here. It's good to have you. Thank you for joining. Welcome, Rachel. How's it going? Shadow Wolf says decided not to grab the Cold Slither. I'm focused on Monkey Wrench pre-order. Ooh. Scott Mora says Shark is live, ironically during Shark Week on the Discovery Channel. Good shit. I'm gonna pin your message. That's a great one. Thank you so much, Scott Mora, with that awesome news. I did not know. So it's Shark Week. Beautiful. Alright, so I'm gonna dedicate the entire week to Scott Mora because he informed me of it's Shark Week on the Discovery Channel. That's freaking badass. Thank you so much, Scott. I just pinned your comment, so hopefully you enjoy that. Let's see. Miles McDaniel, welcome to the chat. Says lots of stuff coming this week from Hasbro, Snake, Claw, and Rattler, Big Bad Toy Store. I think Robert Wantlin also said that his Cobra Claw is coming, which is awesome. So, that's good. Alan Balcom, what's up, man? It's good to see you finally. We have 3 monkeys in a trench coat. Whoa, you look like a new person here. Welcome to the chat. It's very nice username. It says yo back. And then Wilfredo Diaz, welcome to the chat. Says good evening to everyone here tonight. Sorry I'm late. I didn't get the notification. It's all good, man. This is going to be this was a last minute impromptu stream, so even if we don't get that many people, that's totally fine. I just decided to go live like last minute or like a few hours ago, so let me see here. Couch Boy says Joe needs cooking stuff. Let's world build with pork chop sandwiches. That'd be cool. What was it? No, Blowtorch should have came with the pork chop sandwiches. Blunt facial expression. Odds Mods, welcome to the chat. Says I saw a Shark Week ad right before the stream went live. That's so badass. Hopefully we get more Shark Week stuff. That would be so funny if the Discovery Channel actually sponsored the channel, even though it has no correlation to that and toys, but whatever. 3 monkeys in a trench coat says got charged for my claw today. Congratulations. Nerd Alert says what's up everyone. Thanks Shark for going live. Of course, Nerd Alert. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. I'm gonna wait probably like 3 or 4 more minutes, maybe 5 minutes, and then we will dive into like the main topics of tonight. Like I said, it's probably going to be a pretty short stream because it is Comic-Con weekend and there's probably going to be a lot of stuff to talk about later on in the week. And there could be stuff that's leaking too, maybe, who knows. If Hasbro is good at not leaking things or other YouTubers are good at not leaking things, then hopefully we should have a smooth sail till Thursday. But if something happens tomorrow and Wednesday, then I'll be sure to make videos and we'll enjoy it. Alan says hit the like button. Hell yeah, please do hit the like button for those that are here. Thank you so much for joining on this Monday. Correct, they took my money this morning, says Robert. Awesome. Title Manishir says Hasbro's asking a lot from collectors in Q3. Cold Slither plus Haslab plus Cobra Claw plus Snake Armor, and don't forget the other waves that also shipped out too at some point. I'm pretty sure that's like over, if you're even an army building, that's probably over like, I don't know, over $1,000 easily. Miss, what's up, man? It's good to see you. Welcome to the chat, Miss One, or Miss. I'll just say Miss because it's better that way. What's up? Okay, Alan is welcoming Nerd Alert. Awesome. It's good that you guys are all interacting with each other than just me. I like that. Couchboy says claws are coming for me. Yeah, I think the claws are probably one of my favorite female troop builders, just because the way they designed it and the color scheme, even though it's all like probably a lot of reuse parts, but based on there is a YouTuber that has a review of the Cobra Claw from the UK. I forgot the actual name of his channel, but based on what that review was or how the figure looked, I thought it was very impressive. I mean, I liked it because the Cobra Claw, the gunner from the Hiss tank, and then the Cobra Ferret driver, like they're all like awesome. And the Valkyries 2-pack, amazing female figures. I think the Cobra females are probably like very well done. So I like how they're doing those. The GIJOE females, however, need a lot of work. Shadow Wolf says, plan to join your channel as an official member very soon. What do you mean by official member? Am I missing something? But join my channel as an official member. Do I have that? I don't think I have that. Flaming Crow, welcome to the chat, says, hi everyone, thanks for the tip on the breaker, Shark. Thank you so much, Flaming Crow. I'm very happy for those who are able to get your breaker figures. That's why I heavily tell people to make sure you keep notifications on, even though I do post a decent amount on my post tab page, but you just never know what you're going to find, because even though that breaker did go up again on, it was like 3 in the morning. I just happened to be up and I checked it and I was like, holy shit, breaker's up, and then I posted it, and surprisingly to say, a lot of people were, not a lot, but a good amount of people got their breakers through the link, so I was very happy to know that at least me being up at 3 a.m. actually helps people like you out, so I'm very happy that you guys are getting your figures, because I feel that's more rewarding, you know, for me as a content creator or even a YouTuber, so yeah, I appreciate that. So congratulations to all of you who got your breaker figures. Did I say what up, Ionic Blood? Welcome to the chat. It's good to see you, man. A legend here. A Romo, what's going on? Says it's the homie Shark. It's good to see you guys. We have a lot of. Here's the thing that I really enjoy about my chats is that even if I don't get like a lot of people watching my streams, at least the people that do watch it are the ones that I'm familiar with, and they're people that I've built a good relation and friendship with. Therefore, when I see like a lot of these names, it's like I remember who you guys are. It's not like it's a stream that's like flooded with all these people, which would have also been great, but I see you guys and it's like I build a better connection with you guys because I know who you guys are, in the sense of you guys have always supported since day one. So thank you for always standing by the Shark army, so I appreciate that. Ionic Blood says breaker is coming in tomorrow. Maybe Zanzibar, says Couchboy. Mike Gold says finally got his Rattler today. Congratulations, man. How do you like it? Is the Rattler as good as it's appeared to be? Because, so, you know, thankfully I haven't had any, or I haven't seen anyone complain about the Rattler in the sense of, you know, quality or QC issues at the moment. So I feel like it's been pretty positive or well received, so that's good. Alan says, I double up on all my figures except the Sergeant Slaughter. I can't see paying an additional 10 to 15 for licensing fees. Okay. Alan says, I'm seriously thinking about backing the Snowcat, but all tiers have to get unlocked, and I'm losing hope for that. It's not even backed at this point. Oh, yeah, so we'll talk about the Snowcat in just a second. So hold on here. Oddsmod says Shark, the stream was at 97 or 98 likes when you signed off last time. It also very depends on timing and, you know, like whenever like other people are available to be part of the stream. Because I feel like a lot of people are mostly like West Coast, Midwest people. So because I'm on the East Coast, I go according to my time, where a lot of people are still like 3 hours behind. So they're probably just getting off of work or they're doing other things. So if I did West Coast timing, then chances are I'd be streaming here on the East Coast like at 11 or 12, like, you know, PM and AM, and that would screw me over. We have 46 Zone. I believe this is your first time here on the chat. Welcome, says longtime listener, first time poster. Congratulations, man. I'm happy that you are here in the chat. It says, what do you think of the Haya or Hia Toys Range Viper? I love it. His mask looks like Eddie from Iron Maiden. Yeah, so Hia or Haya Toys just revealed their latest figure, which was the Range Viper. I think it looks pretty badass. It's awesome. The only thing that sucks about Haya or Hia Toys is that I think they're backlogged by so many months, maybe up to a year at this point, because I think they're about, I don't know, 12 to 15 figures in, but they're still trying to ship out like wave 2 or like figures from like last year or 2 years ago. So I think just now, or not now, but like I think it just not too long ago, like Storm Shadow was finally just releasing, and I think probably like Flint or something, I don't even know. So, but otherwise it's a really cool figure. I would definitely be buying Hia or Haya Toys if only they were local and they were actually like available here in the US, but you know, I think it's more of an international retailer. So all right, so what I'm gonna do here is hopefully the if the stream gets closed off for some reason, then I do apologize, but I will put up the Snowcat because we have to talk about this shit now. All right, so again, I apologize if there's like lagging and stuff. Do let me know. But let me see if this works. All right. So here we have the Hasbro Pulse website with the Snowcat Haslab. So here's the thing. We are 24 days away from having this entire project maybe come to fruition. However, we are only, based on this, what the website shows, we are at the moment, we are 7,152 backers away from, we are at 7,152 backers, and we have to get to the goal of 8,000 just to get the initial funding of the Snowcat and Frostbite. And again, we're only 24 days away, so we practically lost an entire, I mean, it's already the end of July. They revealed the Snowcat, I think, July 1st. So we're practically near the end of July. So let's just fast forward a bit. We are about a month into the Haslab Snowcat, and we haven't even it's not even funded yet. Now, I know there's going to be people that are going to say, you know, we still got to take account for people who are going to back it later, or they're going to, you know, last minute backers, etc., etc. But the point of this whole situation is the fact that by now we should have already, because it's already a month into the Haslab, we should have already been by like at least tier 2 unlocked. So again, with San Diego Comic-Con coming in like 3 days, I'm pretty sure we will hit that 8,000 backers within, I don't know, by the end of the week probably, because again, we still have like, I don't know, 800 backers to go to reach. So 800 is really not a lot of people, so we should be able to get this within by Comic-Con weekend, which will be very nice. Otherwise, yeah, because otherwise we would only have about like 20, we'll have about 19 to 20 days left by the time Comic-Con ends, and that's what's going to be the exciting part, because the only way that this thing is going to sell more or probably have a lot more hype is when you have not just the other YouTubers who are going to be attending Comic-Con, but the display of how they're going to set up this Haslab Snowcat. Will the display be in a glass showcase? Will they have all the snow effects in the background? Will they have, of course, they're going to have the main figures and tiers and stuff, but we want to see how they're going to utilize this entire big beast of a vehicle in person, and will it sell to us for those who haven't backed it yet. So that's what I'm really excited to see. I'm thinking at least by this Thursday, at most, we should see the Haslab Snowcat out on display. Probably, if not Friday the most, but Thursday which should be a really good sneak peek for it. Let me quickly go into the chat real quick. Did I say shout out to Rachel Salinas? Welcome, Rachel. Sorry, I forgot to say your name if I didn't. Shout out to Rachel. We have Lance Kienholz. Sorry if I said your name wrong. But this is your first time in the chat, so welcome, Lance. Good to have you here. We have, hold on. Couch Boy says, I begged Tony to do a Dreadnoks Haslab Thunder Machine, 8 motorcycles, 4 figures, Zartan Xandar that turn green, Zartan Mohawk, initial Thrasher. That's a lot of people for that, Couch Boy. I mean, I can see where you're going, but that's also a lot. I mean, eight motorcycles in a Haslab, that's insane. The tooling would be wild. The price would be insane for that. Anyways, so Mike Gold says Snowcat will be low run and will be the most valuable in the long run, just my feeling. That could be a very good possibility, just because, you know, there are going to be a lot of people that there's going to be a lot of people that will have FOMO after the funding, so, you know, not sure how that's going to turn out, but let's see. Flaming Crow says you guys could always back the Snowcat, and if it doesn't hit the tier you're hoping for, just cancel prior to midnight. Yes, that could, yeah, that's true too, because they don't take the money till August 14th, which there's still a lot of time. Josie Cooper, hopefully I said that right. Welcome to the chat, says what's up Shark, just wanted to thank you for the heads up on Breaker. I was able to grab one from Target by work. I would have never known if it was not for your post. Thank you so much, Josie Cooper. I appreciate that. I'm glad you were able to get your figure. That makes me very happy. 2 people here in the chat, or 1 other person in the chat has already stated that they've got their Breaker as well. So thank both of you. That makes me really happy. That makes my day. It makes me enjoy being a G.I. Joe content creator or YouTuber. So I feel really rewarded by just helping you guys out. So thank you for supporting the channel, man, and thank you for subscribing and keeping your notifications on. I appreciate that. That really does mean a lot to me. So congratulations, man. Very nice. Title Manashir says, yeah, I would grab Haya if they were easier to get. True, true, true. Ionic Blood says they should have given the Joe license to Joe Toy. Production, paint apps, and overall designs are better. I mean, I actually don't even know what Joey Toy is. I should look it up. 46, oh sorry, Couch Boy says, Haya is dope, but the cost has me not into it. Yeah, the prices are a bit steep too. I think they're like $100 per figure. I could be wrong. Robert says, I'm not sure what Haya is. It's a international toy. I don't even know from what country, but they do G.I. Joe figures as well. But they're doing all the classified figures, but like I think in 3-inch or 4-inch scale. Josie also says happy Shark Week. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Thank you for wishing me. Sorry, I'm catching up with the chat. S's San Diego Comic-Con will be the Snowcat, says Couch. Yes, sir. Alan Balcom says I still haven't got my dial tone. Damn. Where is the dial tone? Rachel says only 848 more backers to go. Yes, so while we're on the topic here, let me just scroll down real quick. So let's see here. So like I said, we're 24 days away. We should be hitting the 8,000, maybe 8,100 backers by the end of Comic-Con, which will be next Monday, which will give us a week out. So we'll have about 18 or 19 days left. So if we're at, let's just say for the sake of argument, we're only at 8,000 backers. For the sake of conversation, if we only have 18 days left, that means we have to get an additional 2,000 people just to get the first tier unlocked, which is Lady J. Now, I'm not saying that's impossible, but what I'm trying to say is that it's taken us over a month just to get 8,000 people, which again, I know there's last minute people, which is fine. But let's say the whole vehicle is funded in the sense of just getting Frostbite and the Snowcat. But in order to get an additional 2,000 people just to get Lady J, I think that could be a stretch, because then we'll only have like 18 days left, and based on its slowness, you know, then from there we're gonna need, just to get the bivouac, right, we're gonna need at least a total of an additional 4,000 backers from the 8,000, and then just to get to Flint we need an additional 6,000 people, which is insane. Robert says a Shark Week ad just played. Awesome. That makes me happy. Rachel says, will they display Flint with his action sausage? I'm pretty sure Flint with the bivouac, unless they do like a very romantic scene with Flint making out with Lady J in the cot inside the bivouac with the flames and the heating, that would be really funny. They're probably gonna be getting it on while Frostbite's making his damn coffee or baking his little eggs and shit. Couchboy says, with no reason to buy early, I feel 14,000 is easy. It's possible. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm just saying we are also, we're almost short on time, so it's going to be like a very thin stretch until we get this all funded. So I'm pretty sure, I don't say I'm pretty sure, but I have a feeling it will be backed. But if, for the sake of conversation, it does not get backed, it will be the first ever GI Joe Haslab to not be 100% funded. Of course, that says a lot, but there's a difference between having a Haslab funded and a difference between having a Haslab funded with all its tiers unlocked. A Romo says, Breaker is on my way to the crib. Awesome. Congratulations, man. Glad to know you got your Breaker, A Romo. Title Manager says, I know it won't happen, but I know someone at Comic-Con asks what the hell happened with Dial Tone. Poor Dial Tone. What if Mainframe comes out even before Dial Tone? Nerd Alert says, it's a shame I don't even think Snow Job is available anymore. Well, based on a lot of people's thoughts, they believe that Snow Job might be re-released in a retro form, even though there's probably not going to be that much retro-iness about it, but less accessories, just to kind of cater to the fans who don't have it, but who knows. Rachel says, it'll be a shame if we get Lady J but we don't get Flint. Yeah, so that's another good thought there, because I don't know if I mentioned this in the previous stream, but it's kind of like you're getting, if all the tiers don't get unlocked, then that means you're paying more but you're getting less. At least that's how I see it. So if all the tiers are getting unlocked, and if each figure, let's say, is about, you know, those eggs and sausages and fish is damn like expensive, right, for tooling. So for the $325 price tag, sure, it is pretty high, but at the end of the day, you know, besides the figures and the bivouac and all that crap, how I usually see it is, for that price point and how big and massive the Snowcat is and the accessories and Frostbite and all that shit, you're kind of, you know, you're getting what you're paying for in that sense. That's kind of how I see it. But if you don't unlock 2 tiers, but you're only getting Lady J and Frostbite and the Snowcat, but you're missing out on the bivouac and Arctic Flint, then that kind of means you're paying $325 for just one figure, for like 2 figures in a vehicle, rather than having $325 and getting an additional Flint figure, even if you don't need it, and the bivouac. So again, I don't know what you guys are gonna do with your tents and cots and your, you know, frying pan with eggs and stuff, but at least it'll come with the Haslab if it's all funded, rather than missing out on it, or, you know. Mr. Samson, welcome to the chat, says they're going to have to add a bonus tier. It's not going to be backed like the others. So Mr. Samson pulls up a very valid point, because now there's a really good chance that since we know that the G.I. Joe team is doing a Hasbro panel at, I think 10 a.m., 10, 11 a.m. on Saturday, West Coast time. So there could be a slight chance that they could, because of like, you know, damage control or last minute like panicking and knowing that, like, you know, they're kind of slow on the funding at the moment, there's a really good chance they can just announce like 2 Arctic characters, or possibly tell us like Frostbite will come, or sorry, not Frostbite, like Iceberg, not part of the Haslab, but they might say like, you know, Iceberg will be coming to the classified line to accompany your Snowcat. Or they could reveal a digital render of Iceberg and be like, he's not going to be part of the Haslab, but if you back the Haslab and get your Snowcat, Iceberg Iceberg will be coming soon. Therefore, that can be an incentive. Or it could also be, even if it's not Iceberg, at least other characters like Windchill or Cold Front or Blizzard, you know, any one of those names could be an incentive for people to back the Haslab. So anything is extremely possible at this point. So Mr. Samson does make a valid point saying they do need to add, well, I don't know about adding a bonus tier at this point, because they didn't do it for the Rattler when we all bitched and complained about the patches, and it still got funded anyway. So I don't think they're going to do that with this, but chances are for this particular one, because it's the slowest funding Haslab, it hasn't been well received in general in terms of price and terrain or style of vehicle, because people wanted other vehicles instead. They could get more people to join in by tossing in a name only or digital render of Iceberg, Cold Front, Avalanche, Blizzard, Windchill, etc., etc. Sub-Zero, probably not the Mortal Kombat character, the G.I. Joe. Nerd Alert says the funding would have been through the roof if they offered all original Snow characters. So yes and no, because again, a lot of people, you know, we can't assume that everyone can afford a Haslab, or we can't assume that everyone has the money for it, or like in the sense of they have the space for it, etc., etc. So imagine you're like a diehard G.I. Joe fan and you want an Iceberg, but in order to get the Iceberg, which is probably going to be like a $35 figure or like $30 figure, you would have to spend at least $325 just to get your damn Iceberg. You know, like that's kind of coughing up a lot for and plus the principles for a Haslab is that the tiers are supposed to be figures that are not meant to be figures that are in retail, which is why the Haslab Dragonfly got the NIGHTFORCE, Crazy Legs, and Ripcord, which will never be in which will never be a mainline release, but we will see original versions of Crazy Legs and Ripcord in their classic colors, but the NIGHTFORCE versions are limited to just Haslab. Same with Glenda, same with the distorted logo Cobra Commander, and then the driver, and then the tactician. So it has to be exclusive enough to know that you're getting what you're paying for exclusivity, rather than getting a mainline figures behind a paywall, which was, you know, adding Iceberg in there would have tossed, you know, a lot of people to riot. I mean, yes, it would fund, but for the general fans who want an Iceberg, they would not be too happy about that. Russell Terrell says, damn it, I just got on. How much did I miss with the Slowcat playset? Not much. We're still there. Let me just scroll down real quick while I'm here. Me personally, I'm getting hammered by my pre-orders and might not be able to afford it. I mean, we have to look at our own financial situations. Let's see here. Ionic Blood says, oof. Robert Wantland says, me personally, I'm getting hammered. Oh, I just read that. Alan says, Nerd alert, I think Snow Job and Snow Serpent figures were exclusives and not even widely distributed, which I think is a serious misjustice. Well, the thing is, with Snow Serpent being part of the retro card, again, not every figure will be a retro figure, but it's also one of those things where, you know, maybe they want to keep it that way. I don't know. Will Newman, welcome to the chat. It's good to have you. Shoot. Rachel says the Haslab Sky Striker missed the final tier. Rip ketchup and mustard. That was completely Hasbro's fault for messing up that O-ring Sky Striker not funding, because had they put the ketchup and mustard figures right in the beginning, then it would have been enticing enough to get the others later on, like the Cobra Commander decals and the Cobra Commander or like the other figures, Cobra figures, or the Ripcord or the Scarlet, whatever. So to put that at the last tier, they kind of like shot themselves in the foot with that one. Then it says 46 Zone says the Sky Striker did not fully fund. This one will if they announce future releases of Iceberg. Yes, I 100% agree with you. Scott says in the past they add all the international and retail orders during their final week and it jumps to 8,000, 10,000. Yeah, so so you're not wrong. But the point of a lot of us people bitching and complaining that it's not funding now is because for a G.I. Joe vehicle, like the vehicles are extremely essential to G.I. Joe. The part that's making it very lackluster for collectors is that, like I mentioned before, one, it's a snow vehicle. Two, it's a vehicle for, you know, a specific niche and group of characters, and it's one of those vehicles where they, you know, people wanted something else. So the Snowcat was more of like a side. It was like a side. What do you call it? A curveball to the collecting needs, because now we have to wait like an entire year, 2 years for another Joe vehicle, because if this was like a Mobat or Mauler or even a Thunder Machine, not Thunder Machine, like a Mobat or Mauler, then next year would be a Cobra vehicle, and then the year after that would be a Joe vehicle. Even if it was a Snowcat, at least we've got like a Mobat or Mauler prior. But with this being now, we have to wait till like 2027 or 28, and that's like a long time just to get like another vehicle, a Joe vehicle, out of the way. Let's see here. Kubaz Enigma, welcome to the chat, says Yo Shark, sorry I've been away but always watching. All good, man. Thank you so much for joining the chat. It's good to see a familiar name here, as everyone else is also a familiar name on the chat, so thank you guys. By the way, we are only at 37 likes. Let's hit it with 50 likes tonight. If you guys are here in the stream and haven't liked the video, go ahead and do so. Let's make tonight's goal 50, because it is a Monday and I did not announce that I was streaming earlier. So for an impromptu stream, let's make it a 50 like video, and then we'll see what happens. Nerd Alert says Emily and the team are prepared for the project. That's good. Alan says, while that's true, Scott, the fact that it's not even backed yet is troublesome. I'm having doubts that it will be fully unlocked. That's another concerning thought for collectors, is that they want to have all the tiers unlocked, which could happen, but imagine you're waiting like 2 months and you're on your toes, because if this is a vehicle you really, really want and you don't get every tier unlocked, then you're just like, ah, oh, damn. You know. Will Newman says, still not got my Cobra Rattler. My Megatron Godzilla type was delivered. Hang in there, man. I believe they are slowly trickling into collectors. They did, I think someone said that when they talked to customer service for the Haslab Rattler, that it's going to take them at least another month or two to get it to everyone. So I think patience will be a virtue. Couchboy says, I love what? Let me see. Nerd Alert says we are definitely getting a Snow Cobra Commander at some point. I don't know about that. Maybe. Stigma New York NYC says, why not Snowcat and Polar Battle Bear instant sell? Yeah, so it's not the fact that they won't sell. Again, it's one of those things where if you were keeping track of the GIJOE team's interviews back in the day, there was one interview, I don't even know where the hell it is now, but it's everything that's like in the top of my head in memory, where there was one interview where somebody asked them about the Snowcat or whatever, and you know, they talked about how the Snowcat is too small, they want to incorporate the Snowcat for something that's retail, etc., etc. And that's what kind of embedded in people's brain, because they wanted, or they assumed that if we ever got a Snowcat, it's going to be like a Pulse, Hasbro Pulse exclusive, you know, like something you can just get on the website at some time, and etc., etc. So it didn't even matter what the price was per se. So so that kind of made people a little bit more like, okay, the Snowcat can be reserved for like retail, mainline releases, Pulse exclusive, whatever, that's fine. But to suddenly go from their wording of that to switching it up to making the Snowcat a Haslab is basically saying they can make anything a Haslab at this point, and that's where collectors are having a frustration or a hard time. And I read a lot of comments because they're not wrong, because I do remember the G.I. Joe team did say that. But with them making the Snowcat this big, which again, it's awesome, it looks great, I have no issues with how it is, but it's one of those things where now they can make the Thunder Machine just as big or even smaller, or the Thunder Machine can still be a Haslab. They can, what if they make Copperhead's Water Moccasin to Haslab scale? What if they do the Cobra Hydrofoil in a Haslab scale? All vehicles that are not that big, but you know, now we're going to be like Haslab scale vehicles. Like, that's just, you're kind of like, you're poking the bear at this point for collectors, you know. So you kind of have to, the GIJOE team has to kind of slow it down in the sense of know what vehicles can or can't or shouldn't be. It's kind of like getting a little bit greedy, but at the same time, like yanking collectors by the, you know, by the shark fins and saying, hey, it doesn't matter how big or expensive this thing is, we know you guys are going to fund it, so yeah, I know you can do it. The Nerd Alert says 2028 we're getting the whale. I don't know. Rachel says, had they include the other Arctic drivers, whiteout, cold front, wind chill. Yeah, I 100% agree. Whiteout would have been great, cold front would have been great, wind chill would have been awesome. Any one of those would have been fantastic to add. Benedict says, welcome Benedict to the chat, says, picked up a vintage Slugger with Thunder over the weekend. Awesome. I'm glad you like it. Alan says, we need Flint with his sausages. Couchboy says, Stigma. Yes, Polar Bear. Russell Terrell, welcome, says, did I ever say welcome? I don't remember now. Russell Terrell says, since Haslab is doing GIJOE Cobra, if Snowcat does not fund, will the next Haslab be another GIJOE or go back to Cobra? Well, fortunately, this Haslab will back, because again, we're only 800 backers from, and we still got like 24 days. So it's already a given it will fund. So we have no issues or concern that it's not going to fund. But if I were to answer your question of if it does not get fund through some interesting stroke of turn of events, I think they will still continue with the GIJOE Cobra theme, because that would just be like, well, good question now, because if they really want to hype up the GIJOE vehicles, then it's like, all right, toss is something that everybody needs. But if they do a Cobra vehicle, then they really have to pay attention to the fan base and know what Cobra vehicle would be essential to the Haslab market, and not just like pull something out of their asses and be like, oh, we know you guys will fund it. It's like, no, like read the room, know what the GIJOE fan base wants for Cobra vehicles, and then we'll see what happens. Roland Max says, this might be the first Haslab I don't back. It's really not that good, not that great weapons on it. Tees are all blah. Yeah, that's kind of also another thing. So I don't blame you. Freddie Vargas, welcome to the chat, says thanks for the heads up on Breaker. Congratulations, man. You are the third person in the chat who has successfully got their Breaker through my posts. So very happy, very happy. Snowcat has no guns. It does it? Yes, it does. It has those where are we? Look, you got the missiles. There you go. You got the missiles. You got this missiles on a snowboard, if that's part of your liking. But based on just this entire image right here, missiles, fire effects, a snowboard. Yeah, no, there's no actual like gun power. Nerd Alert says the Snowcat is $325. The Mezco Rambler was the same, and there's ramen toy stuff and Gridiron Phalanx. Yeah, I saw the Gridiron Phalanx. That looked really, really awesome. Robert says maybe they will do another snow character with the Battle Bear. Oh, I don't know. That might be pushing it. Because if a lot of people are complaining about this being a snow vehicle, then for them to do another snow oh, you're saying snow character. Sorry. Yeah, because again, you have to, I'm trying to like, so imagine you had like, so if you saw my previous live stream, I talked about how there's really not that many snow characters in the GI Joe line, minus the new ones that they might make later in the future. However, in order for them to really make an incentive or worth buying this, not just because, okay, you got another Joe vehicle in Cat Haslab, you have to push out the Arctic characters to sell this thing. You can't just say, here's a snow vehicle, and then give us like a jungle terrain freaking Grim Viper and all this like random shit. It's like, okay, if the whole theme right now is supposed to be Arctic, like because of the Haslab, toss us like these figures don't even have to be a Haslab part. Like, you can still have the Arctic Flint and Lady J, like, fine, whatever. But toss in the incentives of, like, oh, but do you guys know that if you back this Haslab with the Arctic theme of the Snowcat, do know that down the line, as a name-only reveal, like, Iceberg is coming down the line, Windchill is coming. Like, if they tossed us all that shit, this would have backed, like, a long time ago. But because they're not necessarily tossing us the cookies at the moment, they're just, like, we know they're going to make them, but the problem is that we don't know when they're going to come. Frostbite, for all I know, can come out next year. Frostbite can come out 2 years from now. So not Frostbite, Iceberg. Iceberg can come out next year. Iceberg can come out 2 years from now. There's no indication of when these other Arctic characters are coming. Therefore, you're going to be sitting with your Snowcat collecting dust because there's not a lot of Arctic characters, and they're going to spread them out throughout the years because there's only like less than 12 off the top of my head. Whereas if you do like a tank or some other, you know, Joe vehicle, you can literally mix and match those with any desired character, and that would have made more sense. But man, so angry. Okay, let's see. I give them credit for Frostbite. 40 says 46 don't. Yeah, Frostbite looks good. I have no issues with him. Couchboy says, I'm telling you, first Haslab with no urgency. Last minute buyers will be more than we have ever seen. Couchboy says 14,000. I agree with you. Vulture, what's up, man? It's good to see you in the chat. Says, what up, blonde? Thank you so much. Shoot, my chat just got messed up. Secret extra tier will save the Haslab, says Roland. Euro backers have not been tailed yet. I don't think so. Robert says, what would be the next essential Cobra vehicle? The hydrofoil. So we can probably eliminate the Night Raven, eliminate yeah, I think hydrofoil would seem like the best option at the moment. I can't think of off the top of my, Thunder Machine. Thunder Machine is like the biggest hard hitting right now that a lot of people want. They want a Thunder Machine. So if it's not a Thunder Machine, then a hydrofoil. Those are the only two I can think of at the moment. Scott says, what would be your top 3 Cobra vehicles you want to see in a Haslab? Cobra vehicles. Oof. I mean, I'm a really big fan of the hydrofoil, but I don't know how they would make that into a Haslab, but still hydrofoil would be sick. If you want like a, well, they already have the Hiss tank, so they wouldn't do the other Cobra, the Cat, the black tank, whatever that one was called. Because to be quite honest, I'm not really a fan of the Thunder Machine, so I could care less about it. Like, yeah, I would want a Thrasher figure, but I was never a Thunder Machine fan, so it doesn't matter to me. But I don't know. I think at the moment it would just be like a hydrofoil. If I could think anything else, I'll come back to it. Alan says the Hiss tank was backed within the Hiss tank was backed within like 8 hours, which was insane. Stigma says all left from OG Mobat and Flak. All great vehicles. What did Rachel say? Alan says, I agree with Rachel that not to mention they slightly scaled it up more to make it more appealing. Yeah. Rob Colcourt, welcome to the chat, says it's Snowcat. They didn't have guns, could have made 1 or 2, but they went with kitchen accessories. Yeah, man, where is that kitchen shit? There you go. This is where your tooling went into, people. I don't know if you're watching on the screen. This is where your tooling went into. A freaking bucket of ice. This shit is worth like $50. This sculpted on ice. Look, I'm not trying to complain or bitch or moan or something, but I'm thinking of it as a logical toy collector. Unless you are a photographer, unless you are someone who is very keen on having a awesome display, then yes, this will be great for you. I'm not denying that. But for an average collector, for an average person who's going to have their Snowcat on a shelf, what are you going to do with this damn ice? It's nice, it looks cool, don't get me wrong, but what are you going to do with this? Are you going to sit there and freaking like have your Frostbite use its freaking coffee mug and dig up ice? Like, I don't care. Oh my god, I'm on Shark Week right now. Forgive me. I'm on Shark Week. I mean, that's why I'm so angry. Let's see. I'm just worried about the connections on the Snowcat turret. Screwed over the vamp cheap, says Nerd Alert. Roland Max says, I bet extended timeline for more backers. Ooh, that might happen. Shoot, my chat just jumped for some reason. Paul says, watch, Iceberg will come with the Polar Battle Bear. That would be sick, though. Rachel says the Moray would be a good Cobra Haslab. Oh, I forgot about that one. Three Monkeys says, have they ever added more to Haslab to make it fun? No and yes. So the only one I can think of was the Hiss tank with the distorted logo Cobra Commander. Maybe they already had that planned in advance, but at the moment we only had the driver, the tactician, and the female gunner. Because if I remember, like, from those years, the Cobra Hiss was like pretty much already funded by then, but I think they, as like a bonus, they said here's another bonus like 4th figure, which was freaking that Cobra Commander. So everybody was like losing their mind. They're like, holy shit, that's so awesome. So I think even if that was already planned for them, that was that's probably the closest I can think of them like adding an additional figure. Unless that wasn't even your question, then I apologize. Bill Lioner, welcome to the chat, says, as a Canadian, this is my dream Haslab. That's true. I mean, yeah, because unless it snows where you are, then this will be great. Elvin Martinez, welcome to the chat, says, hope all is well. All is well, man. Thank you so much for asking. Hope you're doing well, too. Vulture says, 3 Claws are shipping tomorrow. Congrats, man. Sold ice to Eskimos. Rachel says, I want to see a stun, but it doesn't have to be a Haslab. Troy T, welcome to the chat. I think this is your first time here. Says Dreadnoks were a biker gang. They need Harleys. That's true. So will the G.I. Joe team give us like Harleys? Who knows? The Joes are engaging out for a beer in Arctic. No Starbucks Frappuccino, says Vulture. 1 Tearsby refrigerator with ice. Might have to get a third 3D printer already just to start printing vehicles. Yeah, I mean, it could be years. Big Rib, welcome to the chat. Says, what's up, Shark? Passing, don't do ice figures for vehicles. Ooh, there you go. Oddsmod says, wouldn't there be ice all around you if you were out in the Snowcat? That's what I'm saying. Miss says, they're add Barbie shit to the Snowcat. Okay. So anyways, let me just quickly go over this last time, probably. So the windshield with the ice flakes stuff, that's all cool. Figures, fine. Again, Lady J, whatever. Bivouac, fine with the flame effects. I mean, the fire, the fish. Again, no whatever. Flint, whatever. All right. Anyway, so hopefully this will be, I don't know. I don't want to, I guess we'll have to come back to this sooner or later. So that's the Haslab freaking Snowcat. So yes, so at the time of making this live stream, if I just refresh, 7,153. There we go. All right, moving on. Let's talk about this year's Hasbro Pulse, Hasbro San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Cold Slither 4-pack. So I do want to emphasize after reading this, I was, as I mentioned in my previous SHARKNEWZ video, if you look here on the description, it says it's going to be out for pre-order in 2 days for $125. Now, if you see here in the caption, it says available online for Pulse Premium members only. Okay, I don't necessarily believe that, because a lot of times what they usually do is the Pulse Premium members usually go up like an hour before the original like time frame, and then like general public gets it, like they get like leftover stock. But it still says here during the San Diego Comic-Con launch starting on July 24th, which is this Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern, while supplies last. However, the biggest takeaway for me here when I read this shit, I was like, it says regular pre-orders starts on August 1st. Now, this can mean two things. This can mean that the Cold Slither 4-pack will have more stock on August 1st, or this could possibly mean that August 1st is only going to be having whatever leftover stock that San Diego Comic-Con did not make. So this doesn't guarantee you that this is like a fresh batch of new Cold Slither figures for August 1st. They're just saying regular pre-orders, which means, and within these 4 days, if they don't necessarily sell out, then that means they should have like some backup stock, like how they did with Dr. Mindbender and Serpentor. But I personally don't see this set like technically selling out, but in the case of people who are scalpers and FOMO and all this and that, or people who just want to make some extra money, of course they're gonna grab, like, I'm pretty sure this is gonna be like a limit of 5 per person, so that's gonna suck, because there's no indication here saying 1 or 2 per person, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be 5 per person, just like how Once a Man Cobra Commander was, which was utter bullshit. So we know that if one person is grabbing 5 sets, they're instantly going to sell out within these 4 days for sure. And then whatever is going to happen on August 1st, then we should have at least, you know, leftover stock of like 10 left. So who knows what's going to happen. But anyways, Russell Terrell says, I only wanted Serpentor, but just the figure only. Will that happen? I do believe so, because if you want to use Emily as a source, she mentioned in one of the live streams like a while back that the Serpentor with the Air Chariot is an exclusive strictly for the Comic-Con exclusive. And these aren't the exact words, but she said something like, if they ever were to re-release Serpentor, it would have to be without the Air Chariot. Now, if you go on yojo.com, there's multiple variations of Serpentor out there, color schemes, facial expressions, designs. So we probably may see another Serpentor down the line. Will it be the same one as the exclusive? Probably not. And if so, it will probably be better than that exclusive, because the only downfall... Oh, I have it right here. Give me 1 second. So here's the exclusive Serpentor here on screen. The only downfall for this figure, as much as I actually like it and think it's probably one of the better classified figures to date, is that they did not include a screaming face. How are you supposed to have Serpentor without him screaming Cobra like la 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 la, right? Doesn't make any sense to me. He just has a standard like normal face. So I feel like the only way collectors who have this figure that's going to get screwed over is really going to be them re-releasing this figure, and they're going to have a better face sculpt of him actually screaming with his mouth open and all that other stuff. So very good possibility of this Serpentor coming back down the line and looking better than what we see here. Therefore, expect it, because again, he's not like Dr. Mindbender where he had like any logo on the back or anything, but again, the big highlight or missed opportunity, in my opinion, was that they did not include an alternate head sculpt to make him scream. So that's where I feel like the next version will be, that's where the next version will come into play. But anyways, let's just go down to the description of this nonsense, as we have: they taught us how to love, they taught us how to live. Celebrate the triumphant return of Cold Slither with this incredible offer. Whether you've seen them 100 times or are discovering them for the first time, you'll be joining us soon. Got some lyrics there, some cool photography. It says, too late to resist. I'm not going to read all of it, but let's see what they says. It says, how could you possibly say no to this phenomenal piece of music history whose staggering levels of detail go to 11? Oh, God. With each set you purchase, you get 16 scale action figures of all 4 founding members of Cold Slither, the Dreadnought, Zartan, Ripper, Buzzer, and Torch, who rocketed to the top of the charts with their... I don't know how to say that. Whatever. From Dreadnoughts to the hard rock, whatever. Let's see. These aren't just some average Joes. Each figure comes complete with a signature instrument. 29 accessory pieces in all. Each feature is exceptionally detailed. Hold on. Exceptional detailing. Exceptional detail. Can I just go back up real quick? This is their definition of exceptional detail. Zartan wearing yellow pants and a black vest. This is exceptional detail. Okay, I'm not going to trigger anyone. I'm sorry. Let me go back. Like I said, I'm on Shark Week right now, so maybe that's why I'm completely upset. Please forgive me. Anyways. Awesome posability to recreate dynamic diorama displays of all their epic jams. Their costumes deco brings a modern take of legendary designs. They're like stars twinkling, whatever. From the moment you slide open the collectible box, you'll feel transported to an unforgettable concert experience. Ease the slipcover off. Okay, blah, blah, blah. This is a really cool one, though. At least we got gem posters, so perhaps we'll get 6-inch figures of gem. Still hoping for freaking... What's the other brand called? Visionaries. Hopefully Visionaries somewhere down the line. Okay, let's see here. Through the eyes of a lizard king, you will dream. Unfold the box and pass through the veil of the venue doors into the place, etc., etc. I mean, the box is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's cool. Otherwise, a band of vipers playing our tune. Each Cold Slither figure is set in the set includes iconic... Oh, I just read that. It says, you want more play, we get more pay. Don't tell us what's right, don't tell us what's wrong. Blah, blah, blah. Swipe to meet the band. Alright, I don't want to read all of this, but let me just quickly... Heartthrob Zartan is the brooding bad boy of the bunch. Okay, Zartan can speak over 20 languages. He's quite the linguist. He also enjoys martial arts, yoga, and archery. Zartan hates the sun, stays away. Okay, cool. Torch was overjoyed at Cold Slither's first paying gig, which paid each band member just $5 an hour. Cutting tools to create what he calls deconstructionist art. Torch scavenges his swamps for fun and profit. I don't know, man. Exceptionally detailed figures. Ripper has a sweet tooth since he was a young boy, which explains his love for grape soda and chocolate donuts. But hopefully it won't impact that flawless ab crunch. Outside of music, Ripper has a passion for motorcycles and a collection of wooden shoes. Ripper is a party boy who hates when things are getting to be too much like work. Buzzer. I'm trying to see if this photo has any characters hiding in the background, because I see an Iron Grenadier, I see an eel, I see Footloose, I see a Viper, I see more Iron Grenadiers. Okay, so I don't know, usually they include some kind of crazy ass little tidbit in there. And that's about it for Buzzer. While the exclusive set is band members only, be sure to look for other GIJOE Classified and Cobra action figures and toys. Each sold separately. We have Shipwreck in the audience there. More photography. And yeah. Don't really know. Yeah, that's a good point, Robert. I bet they work their asses off keeping their glasses on. That's another thing. Choi T says this episode has 112,000 views. Almost gave me a heart attack because I was like, there's no way. But he meant the episode, not the live stream. That's funny. Okay, so otherwise, for those that are interested in buying this or pre-ordering this, you have 2 days, 14 hours, 11 minutes, and 51 seconds. I will be providing the links in my community tab page. So yeah, so I will be providing the links. So make sure you guys do, you know, if you guys are interested or don't remember to check it, I will provide the links for this. And in other news, what I'll also be providing links for is this 2-pack that we have right here, which is the NIGHTFORCE, BEACHHEAD, and QUICKKICK. For those that are interested in this 2-pack, I will post the link right here in the chat. Therefore, you guys can save it and then you can you know, save it in your whatever tabs for your own benefits when the time comes. That way you guys don't miss out if you want it. It says here that Walmart's CollectorCon will be the same time as San Diego Comic-Con, so it says July 24th at 7 a.m. Pacific, which is 10 a.m. Eastern. So we've already seen most of all these photos. Nothing too new here, but let's just quickly go over these while we're at it. This looks cool. Again, we've already talked about the kabuki masks and all that stuff. We have the box art, pretty cool. We got their tushes, fine. More artwork there. We don't really nothing back there. Otherwise, we have this there. So, yeah, I don't know how many people are actually interested in buying this 2-pack, but this again goes at the same time on July 24th. So I will also be providing links for this 2-pack as well. So if anybody needs, check the community tab page, I think it's called post tab page, not even called community anymore. Check the post tab page. I'll have the links for both this and the Cold Slither for those interested. I'll try my best. Hopefully you guys, you know, get it if you want it. Robert says, anything sneaky in the background? I don't think so. Not that I can recall. There's something green back there. I don't know. Maybe that's poly. Looks empty to me. Garbage cans or garbage bags. Nope. Don't see anything there. But yeah, so with that being said, I want to do something really fun real quick. You guys let me know in the comments or in the chat. Let me know which band do you think is actually more fun to watch. And we'll call the segment the Battle of the Bands. Would you rather see Cold Slither play live, or would you rather see NECA's Ninja Turtles playing in their band? And I don't know if you guys have ever seen this cassette or VHS tape back in the day of the Ninja Turtles and their creepy ass musical instruments, but would you guys rather watch Ninja Turtles or watch Cold Slither? Nerd Alert says, I want that beachhead for the other bodies. The outfit stinks. They can't get quick kick right. Still looks off. Yeah, probably by the head sculpts. These 2-packs have one, and one don't even have time. 2-packs are carnival tricks. Smoke and mirrors, as they say. So yeah, so I don't recommend anyone to YouTube these Ninja Turtles if you don't want to get traumatized and scarred for the rest of your life, because you know, these turtles will probably destroy everything you know and love about the turtles. But Robert says, I'm sorry to say, but the turtles. Troy T says Ninja Turtles with Vanilla Ice. Singing the Go Ninja. Stigma says Turtles. 46 Zone says Cold Slither. Oddsmod says, dude, I actually saw the TMNT concert back in the day. Holy shit. It was pretty terrible as so Cold Slither. Elvin says TMNT. I watched that VHS as a kid until I got stuck in my VCR. Benedict says TMNT. So surprisingly, we have more TMNT. Well, Brandon Hairston says Cold Slither. Well, now Bill Not Lionaire says Cold Slither. Okay, so I think the landsliding. You know what? Let's just do a poll real quick because I figured, how the hell do I do a poll? All right. I'm only going to keep this up for like 5 minutes and then we'll... Hold on. Which band do you want to see live? I'll just say Turtles and then we'll say Cold Slither. Alright, I'm only giving you guys like a few minutes just to see how this poll would last. it was coming out of their shell. Taurus says odds mods. Couchboy says I battled Rap Vanilla Ice in Florida and got him booed off his own stage. Cold Slither. Damn. That's right. Couchboy is a well-known musician. Cold Turtle Slither. Cold Slither is winning by 56%, but the Turtles now have 40. Whoa. Cold Slither now has 69%. Turtles with 31. Now 30. Oh my god. Well, looks like Cold Slither's winning anyway. I should have known it is a G.I. Joe stream after all. If I did NECA, it would have been a whole completely different story. Let me see here. Alright, I'll give it 60 more seconds. I'm pretty sure Cold Slither is just going to win regardless. Robert says, now if Steel Panther is playing in the place of Cold Slither, I'll switch my vote. Three Monkey says, not gonna lie, Turtles look like some doodle bop music. Watch the Christmas versions, you'll have a blast. Russell says, Turtles have pizza, Vanilla Ice, most wanted TMNT figure. I agree. Couchboy, look at my name. Nabo Rocky's a legend in my community. Alright, so we'll just end the poll there. It looks like Cold Slither won with a landslide of 69% as the Turtles got 31. If this was a NECA TMNT YouTube channel, I'm sure the Turtles would have won, but this was just something I wanted to do for fun. But last but not least, again, here are all the figures that we know of so far. Also, shout out to everyone who helped me surpass the 50 likes. We are at 62, so thank you guys so much for helping me surpass today's stream goal. For a very impromptu stream, I'm very happy to know we passed the 50 likes goal, so thank you guys so much for that. These are the only figures that we know of so far, because as of this moment, I'm eliminating the Cold Slither 4-pack and the, what was the other one? The NIGHTFORCE, BEACHHEAD, and QUICKKICK. So now we have basically Mainframe included, so there's a really good chance that probably at this year's Comic-Con, which again is in like a few days, we're probably going to see some of these figures on display. I'm not sure if the Legacy Series Police Officer will make his debut at Comic-Con in the display. If not, that's going to suck. Otherwise, we have the Grim Viper, which again is a very nice looking figure. Desert Scorpion, another decent looking figure, no complaints there. Sci-Fi, holy shit, still so excited for that one. I will pre-order that. I'll pre-order Sci-Fi, man. I'm so excited for that one. Wetsuit, I will, even though as much as I would like a wetsuit, I'm not going to pre-order him anytime soon. I'm going to play the waiting game on that one. Definitely not rushing to get that. And then the Police Officer there. So alongside these figures, we could see the debut or render reveal for Night Viper, Flash, probably Reddog, Taurus. We'll probably see the Steel Core Sentry figure with Defense Post on display. Therefore, yeah, I feel like any one of these, I'm not saying all of them, but I'm sure a good batch will probably be on display, which is why, again, I'm going to be streaming again later this week to go over some of the Comic-Con stuff. So I hope you guys are able to join in on that too. So I don't have any specific timings, and I apologize for that. I feel like what was I saying? I will be streaming probably more than once or twice this week, even maybe like 2 more times this week. So it's going to be a heavy week for live streams for SHARKNEWZ. But if you guys are able to join, that would be freaking amazing. If you guys are busy, then I appreciate even if you watch the replay. So all that is great. But let me see, what else am I missing? Yeah, so today's Monday. So is it Monday? Yeah, today is Monday. So I should have another live stream later this week. I honestly don't know what day or time. It really just depends. If anything comes out for Comic-Con weekend, it'll be crazy. So it'll be exciting to go over some new stuff. So take note of this. Hopefully we might see some more render reveals drop by Saturday, because that's when the G.I. Joe panel is, Saturday at 10 or 11 a.m. I forgot. I know one of you said it in the chat. I still forgot to memorize it, but we'll talk about all that. So expect more SHARKNEWZ videos, and again, probably like 2 more live streams later this week. Robert says it's the first day of Shark Stream Week. Ooh, great name. Shark Stream Week. I love that. Thank you. All right, Robert, I'm dedicating, I know, because I know Scott Mora says Shark Week, but Robert also says Shark Stream Week. That's sick. I love that. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Nerd Alert says best face is a Spirit, Blood, Stalker, Gung-Ho, Zarana, Old Factory. Ah, yes, they did change factories. Couch Boy is talking about Alcatraz, so I have no clue what's going on there. Anyways, so I think we will conclude tonight's stream with this. It was pretty light, but pretty good at the same time. I had a great time. I didn't know how many people would join, but thank you guys so much for tuning in on this Monday. Very impromptu. I know I can always count on you guys. So thank you so much for joining. I will definitely be back in another day or two later this week. So till then, I will see you guys all for Comic-Con reveals and talk about other G.I. Joe goodness. So if you're new, thank you for subscribing. If you're new in the chat, thank you so much for being here and writing. If you've been watching, thank you so much for even just watching, even if you weren't typing. Thank you to those who, what was I saying? I don't know. Just thank you to everyone in general. Anyways, so I'll see you guys all in the next stream. Thank you once again. Have a great few days. I'll see you guys in like 48 hours or something. Till then, enjoy collecting, and congrats on everyone who got their breakers. Yeah, so I'll see you guys all in the next stream. Also, shout out to Jimmy So.